Time for our Week 3 whiteboard with the Dallas Cowboys coming to Soldier Field. This is America's Game of the Week, 3:25 kickoff with Tom Brady on the call. Yep, these teams might not be that good, but when the Cowboys play the Bears, the ratings are still going to come. So it is America's Game of the Week. The Bears are a 1-point favorite, believe it or not. And the over-under, a very high 50.5. It's the second highest total in the league going into Week 3, behind only the Lions and the Ravens. A lot of offense expected in that game, obviously, for different reasons. Cowboys so far 1-1, considering their expectations after trading Micah Parsons. Not too bad. They played the Eagles tough in Week 1. Everybody saw that game. They did lose that one, however. Week 2, bonkers game against the Giants last week in Dallas, and they were able to win it in overtime. Just a wild fourth quarter there. Let's talk EPA per play, kind of just set the tone for this matchup. You can kind of see where these teams are at through 2 weeks. Dallas offensively has been very, very good, off to a good start. 7th in EPA per play so far, while the Bears defense 29th. A little concerning with that matchup and that disparity right there going into this game. However, Dallas's defense has been even worse. They're 30th. And this number is a little surprising for the Bears, who seem to be making a little bit of progress offensively, but they're still 27th in EPA per play through 2 weeks. Cowboys coaching staff, Brian Schottenheimer, his first year as head coach, kind of a surprising hire after they moved on from Mike McCarthy. But he was the OC the last 2 years, so he's been there in Dallas, promoted from within. Remember, McCarthy called the plays, though, so still offensively some differences in what the Cowboys are doing and what Schotty is calling. Defensive coordinator, we know this guy, Matt Eberflus, returning to Dallas, where he was the linebackers coach for the Cowboys from 2011 to 17. He's now the defensive coordinator. It's his defense. He's calling it. We know this scheme very well, obviously, in Chicago. 14-32 as the Bears head coach the last 3 years. Nick Sorensen is their special teams coordinator. He was actually the 49ers defensive coordinator last year. Don't see that too often. He's sort of bounced between special teams and defense throughout his career. Brandon Aubrey, the kicker, got to be aware of him. Best kicker in the league right now. If they get to the C, the logo at midfield at Soldier Field, basically in field goal range. That's how big his leg is. And then Kevontae Turpin, he's been dealing with a neck injury, but he's one of the best returners in the league. Be interesting to see if he's back there or not. If he is back there, you want to kick it to the other guy, Tolbert. Do not want to kick Turpin the ball, and I wonder if the Cowboys will be careful with him. He did not finish the game last week. Maybe you keep him off of return just to keep him healthy. Let's talk about who the Cowboys gained and lost this offseason. Obviously, the biggest one, Micah Parsons, traded right before this season. In that trade, they got Kenny Clark, Bears nemesis, back. He's the nose tackle. You'll see him right here throughout the game. He's had, he's feasted on the Bears before. George Pickens, wide receiver. A lot of names here that you know. Jadeveon Clowney, they just signed. How much will he be involved in his first week with the Cowboys? Will he be out there? I would say probably. They need pass rush help, so they went out and signed Clowney this week. Murray at linebacker has been a big addition for them. And Javonte Williams off to a great start. We'll talk about him in a little bit. The running back, they also signed Miles Sanders, so sort of redid their entire backfield in terms of the running backs. Tyler Booker, they drafted right guard in the first round, and Ezeraku is an edge rusher to keep in mind. I thought he flashed a little bit in the preseason. I like what I saw, but so far he hasn't been involved too much in Dallas's defense. Our marquee matchup this week, no surprise here, Ben Johnson versus Matt Eberflus, the Bears offense versus the Dallas defense. It's been a struggle for the Bears offensively so far. When you look at the advanced metrics, success rate, basically just how much are you actually running a successful play? 31st in the league so far. Rushing, not good. EPA per rush, 31st. Bears really got to get the run game going. Little bit of a glimmer of hope in the passing game. From a deep ball percentage, the Bears have actually been throwing it downfield the third most through 2 weeks. However, the EPA on those sort of in the middle of the pack, 18th. So yes, they're throwing it deep. That's good. Could still be a little bit more successful considering how much they are doing it. When it comes to Dallas's defense, you guys know this scheme already. You know they're going to have 2 high safeties a lot. Run that cover 2. 57% of the time, Flus has been doing that so far. That's first in the league. Blitz percentage, only blitzing 18% of the time. That's 28th in the league. Believe it or not, though, Dennis Allen, the Bears are only 27th. So they're just barely ahead of Matt Eberflus and what he's done so far. And when the Cowboys blitz, their EPA rises up to 11th. So they've had success when they blitz. However, when they don't blitz, which is a lot, dead last in the league. So how much is Matt Eberflus going to try to heat up Caleb Williams this week, try to get him under pressure with some blitzing? Doesn't do it a lot, but when he does, I think that's going to end up being a big storyline in this game. Look at some of our matchups here when you look at the Dallas defense. First of all, when it comes to injuries, Diggs is dealing with an illness. He's on the injury report. Deron Bland is the big one, though, because he wasn't able to go last week. He did not practice Wednesday. A guy Bears fans might remember, Greg Braggs' guy, Reddy Stewart, filled in at nickel. So if he's back out there, the Giants were able to get a ton of big plays on this defense downfield. Russell Wilson all of a sudden looked like vintage Russell Wilson again last week. So if they're shorthanded in their secondary, and honestly, even if they're not, with this deep ball percentage the Bears have had, there should be shots available downfield. The question is, does Caleb Williams get his feet set, get the feet lined up, throw accurate footballs downfield? That'll be huge in this game. And then when it comes to DeAndre Swift, he's on the injury report with a quad injury. So I wonder, this guy right here, number 25, Kyle Monungai, does he get more involved this week? Bears need to get more out of their running game. Swift kind of struggled in pass protection last week as well. Does Monungai get more opportunities? It would not shock me this week if that's where Ben Johnson goes. Otherwise, on this defense, Jack Sanborn. He's been playing a lot of will for the Cowboys, though, which is not where he played for the Bears. I think he's been exposed a little bit in that spot. Just keep an eye on number 57. Bears fans will still love him, but I think he's slightly out of position in this Dallas defense. Not surprising, though, to see Flus sign Sanborn after the Bears moved on from him, wanting a little bit more speed out of their linebackers. In terms of where the Bears can get matchups, though, I mean, DJ Moore, these wide receivers, Rome Odunze has been having a big season so far. Can he keep going? And then I'm going to go here to number 10, too. Luther Burden, get him involved. Olamide Zaccheaus is a good player, but can they get shots downfield with Luther Burden? Because Wan'Dale Robinson, of all people, for the Giants last week was able to do that. Let's see if Ben Johnson can dial up some shot plays, because I think the Bears will continue to have advantage with their weapons. Let's move to the other side of the ball. Dallas offense going up against the Bears defense. This has been a good unit so far for Dallas, especially running the ball. They are third in EPA per rush. Javonte Williams, very surprising, has been the number one running back in the EPA so far. Small sample size, 2 weeks, but they are off to a great start running the ball. And then I don't even put a number here for the Bears. It's just been bad. They got to step it up. They're hurt as we go down to guys who were expecting to be out. These guys have not been ruled out yet, but we know Jaylon Johnson isn't going to play this week. Ben Johnson did confirm that. And then Kyler Gordon and TJ Edwards listed as week to week at this point, so unlikely that they're going to play. That puts Noah Sewell here back in the mic with Edmonds going back to the weak side spot. It's kind of a mess here up front. Nashawn Wright, we go out to the outside. He was drafted by the Cowboys, so a big spot for him. He's actually been pretty good. He rates really high in a lot of metrics so far this season. So Nashawn Wright, from going back, he's playing the team that drafted him and still in Chicago. 3rd round pick from the Cowboys. I'm sure he's going to be highly motivated, but these are tough matchups here. CeeDee Lamb, who's going to stop him? George Pickens, who's going to stop him? Tyreek Stevenson has to step up, obviously, as the Bears try to patch all this together on the fly with Dennis Allen. Now, if you're looking for possibly some good news, I never like to say injuries are a good thing, but the Cowboys did have a big loss last week with their center Cooper Beebe being out. Hoffman steps in. Guyton's dealing with an injury at left tackle, so maybe some opportunities up front, and this is where it comes down to rush and cover, rush and cover. These guys up front need to get more of a pass rush on Dak Prescott, or he's going to stand back there all game long and probably hit some bombs on the Bears' beat-up secondary. It's a tough one this week. Bears got to win. There's your whiteboard look at Week 3.